Canada Now continues with a special look at the CFL. Here's passion for Pigskin.
The work continues to turn this small stadium on the prairies into one large enough to host Canada's biggest party. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Taylor Field in Regina, where in less than 3 months from now, the Grey Cup game will be played. And for the next half hour, we share with you a passion for Pigskin, a look at Canadian football across the country. We start with what it's like right here, Saskatchewan's passion for the game, especially its Rough Riders. Costa Marigus takes a look at the loyal order of Rider Priders, whipped up to a frenzy on game day.
It's 90 minutes before game time in Regina. And it's not just the band that's pumped up.
So how's the beer sound?
It's sounding great.
Welcome to the Saskatchewan Rough Rider pregame party. Thousands of people come here to celebrate their passion for the team and a Canadian game.
It's a classy football franchise. It's a classy place to watch a game. So, of course, you got to dress like class to come to the game.
Fans show their passions here in different ways.
Who's your favorite player?
Nickerson.
Omar Morgan. Milan.
For Don Grant, it's all about a family tradition.
It's something that I really enjoy doing. I've always enjoyed it ever since I was a little kid. So I like to share it with my family and friends.
Don, his wife Crystal, and 3 daughters drove nearly 3 hours from Saskatoon to be at this game.
I don't know, just doing things as a family and seeing the kids get so excited and so into it.
In this part of the country, football passion isn't limited to young families.
Even though you get old, I like to be a kid myself because when I was their age, I didn't have money. I couldn't afford to go to the games.
As fans gather here, more of them arrive just for the game. Others travel hours by bus.
We are the true fans, and no matter what, we're behind the Riders 100%.
And who's that person behind you?
This is Kathy. She's one of our regular
Come on, Kathy.
fans.
Come on over here. What makes you come all the way from Saskatoon to Regina?
We have green blood flowing through our veins when we love the Riders, right? Yeah.
It hasn't always been this good for Rider fans.
Lead by 8 now. Under pressure, fires, intercepted.
They've abandoned the team from time to time, thanks to long stretches of losing seasons. And who could blame them? In nearly 100 years, the Rough Riders have the fewest Grey Cup wins in the league. 2.
1, 2 from the drums.
Still, Rough Rider fans always seem to come back.
Feel the mojo!
You can see it this year at the ticket counter.
They are.
Thank you.
And you see it in the stands. The team is winning. And on this day, in scorching heat, Taylor Field is nearly sold out. And the ties to the past evident on the sidelines. There's a former Rider All-Star who to this day never misses a game.
I remember in 1977 there, Boston, we were going on the 0-14. We had a losing season, but to this day, I don't remember the fans booing.
On this day, a win is nice, but this year fans have a greater goal in mind, a dream. Just ask them about it.
What about having the Grey Cup here with the Rough Riders in the game?
Oh, unreal. That would be my all-time sports event to go to. All-time
Non-stop partying, non-stop partying.
Partying will no doubt happen with the Grey Cup game in Saskatchewan this year. A Grey Cup game or not, Rider fans will continue to flock to Taylor Field. After all, it's a cultural thing. Simply put, on game day for fans, it's the place to be. Costa Marigus, CBC News, Regina.
Meanwhile, in Quebec, football is giving hockey a run for its money as the sport of choice. Young players are making the jump to the pro level either in the CFL or the NFL. It's partly due to an elite program that could churn out yet another marquee player. Michelle Godbout has that story.
With an extra DB, the defense is in the nickel.
Like a lot of 15-year-olds, Remy Biaka-Batuka is big on video games, short on talk. But that doesn't stop him from having one ultimate goal.
I want to play in the NFL.
Number 21, Remy Biaka-Batuka.
That goal is actually part reality. Biaka-Batuka is part of Quebec's elite football program, an opportunity for the province's best prospects to show off their talents. Already, Biaka-Batuka is one of the program's best.
Biaka-Batuka.
Performances like this don't go unnoticed by scouts.
There's one thing for sure, when you're good, regardless of where you're playing, people are going to come and get you.
If Biaka-Batuka's name sounds familiar, it's probably because of his big brother, Chimanga, Tim for short.
Touchdown,
Tim Biaka-Batuka was a star player at Michigan State. He also was the first Quebecer ever to be selected in the first round of the NFL draft.
He was very determined.
The brothers play the same position, they wear the same number. Does it add any pressure?
No, not very much. I do my thing, just play.
So for now, he's just happy to be a quiet 15-year-old, preferring to do most of his talking on a football field. Michelle Godbout, CBC News, Montreal.
Now to a story about a special football player. He's a unique young man. He battles on the field just like any other player, despite a disability. Mike Beauregard has the details from Winnipeg.
This is football at the 9-year-old level. And this is Drake Laverdure.
Well, at first, I thought he was going to be a good player, and now he's great.
Drake is in his second year of football with the Transcona Nationals.
So many of the kids are here for different reasons, but he is here strictly because he loves the game.
Wrap him up, that's it, Drakey.
That Drake can play at all is a surprise, even to his family.
I didn't think he could play, no. I didn't think mentally he could play or physically.
6-2 safety blitz. Ready, break!
Drake Laverdure is mentally challenged. He has a rare disease that deteriorates the mind and body, and the prognosis isn't good.
We were originally told about 15 years life expectancy for him.
Drake can't get enough of football.
Do you like that uniform?
Yeah.
Your mom tells me you wore it all day today.
My mom.
He's shy, but still a better interview than many pro athletes. Drake watches football religiously.
Garrity is wide open in the end zone. Touchdown!
That's so... Shut up!
On the field, he has shown uncanny instincts for someone with his disability.
The first exhibition game we had, Drake recovered a fumble and ran with the ball, properly, just tucked it away and ran right up the field, just like he knew what he was doing for, years, sort of thing.
Drake's family got some great news recently. Results of a bone marrow transplant he had when he was a child indicate he should be able to live a long life.
He'll still be behind, delayed developmentally, but he will be able to function in society and hold a job and live an independent living.
Sadly, Drake won't be able to play football much longer. He's on a slower learning curve than his teammates, and in a few years, the game they'll be playing will be too complicated for him. But getting to play football, if only for a few years, has meant the world to Drake.
He hasn't been really accepted by a lot of kids, but the kids here just think he's just one of the other guys and plays just as hard and just as tough.
Mike Beauregard, CBC News, Winnipeg.
When we come back, a look at the history of the prize given to the victor of Canadian football. And welcome back to A Passion for Pigskin, a special Canada Now on Labor Day look at football in Canada. Here in Saskatchewan, the Labor Day weekend game is usually the biggest game of the year. 2003, though, is a different story as this field once again hosts the Grey Cup. Whoever sits in this seat right here 11 weeks from now will witness firsthand another chapter of the Grey Cup's storied history.
The Grey Cup, congratulations!
The Grey Cup. It's a trophy awarded to the champions of the Canadian Football League. But for many, it means so much more than that. It's more than a trophy, more than a game.
I think it is the one true Canadian sports event that really does bring the whole country together.
All the worries of the world kind of go away for that week at Grey Cup for some reason.
A lot has changed since the first Grey Cup game was played in 1909. 3,800 fans paid $1.25 each to watch an all-Ontario matchup between the University of Toronto and the Parkland Canoe Club. But the winning team didn't even have a trophy to hug. Lord Grey's Cup, a $48 donation from the Governor General, wouldn't be ready for another 3 months.
This is the CBC.
It would be almost 50 years before the first TV cameras showed up. 1957 was the first year a Grey Cup game was shown coast to coast across Canada.
Back to you, Ted Reynolds.
Beautiful, balmy afternoon.
It would literally change the way we watch the game. And before you knew it, the players weren't the only ones drinking from the cup.
I've always wanted to have a sip of champagne out of the Grey Cup.
But this holy grail of Canadian football was not always respected the way it is today. The Grey Cup trophy has a history of abuse and strange happenings. It's been dented, cracked, stolen, and abandoned. It's been put in storage and forgotten about. It survived a fire and has even been taken across the U.S. border by its only American champions. The league it represents has also teetered on the brink of collapse many times over, but somehow the CFL has survived.
Often the credibility of the CFL suffers through some of the things that happen to it. Its reputation suffers, its future is often in doubt. And yet at the Grey Cup, it's always upbeat, it's always positive, and generally I've never really heard of a Grey Cup that flopped.
Even the conditions the game has been played in only add to the colorful history of the event. It's been played in mud and snow, even fog.
Don Southern up to the ball, and it's down there somewhere.
For the majority of players, winning the Grey Cup proved to be as elusive as that football was in the Fog Bowl. But for them, the game became that much more special.
There's quite a story that goes with this, and anybody that's got one of these knows exactly how hard it is to get it, and it's pretty well cherished.
Cherished enough, the Grey Cup is considered to be a symbol of Canadian culture and history. The Canadian Football League has always had its core supporters, but no one will be cheering louder than these next two men. They've devoted their lives to the game. Karen Larson reports from Vancouver.
In a business where change is often the only constant, they are in a league of their own. Les Buchan and Bill Smith, for 50 years, faithful to the BC Lions.
You do something you enjoy, the time goes quick and you don't realize it, you know.
Can you believe it's been 50 years?
No, not a bit. No, it just seems like last year or something.
What seems like just last year is this, August 11th, 1954, the Lions' first ever game. Les was working the press box, Bill coordinating attending junior teams. In the years that followed, they were promoted to dressing room attendants, and it's where they have been ever since.
You want to do it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, good seeing you. They've come to know a lot of players in their half-century of service. Just don't ask them to choose a favorite.
There's so many of them. I wouldn't pick one over too many others. Well, Willie Fleming was one of them. Normie Fieldgate, Leroy Sledge, and Merv Fernandez, Nub Beamer from the old days. There's so many that, you couldn't name them all.
Come game time, it's out to the sidelines. One eye on the stands watching for trouble. The other on the lookout for unruly media.
That's all right, put it on. Come on, big guy, come on.
The number of games Bill's missed in 50 years?
I can count on one hand, I think. Come on, guys, come on, get him! Yes!
They used to be paid for this work, but in the early 90s, the checks suddenly stopped.
Way to go, guys.
but not lessen Bill. As they say, when you love what you do, money just doesn't matter.
There you go, Wally.
Karen Larson, CBC News, Vancouver.
And we'll be right back with a panel discussion on the state of the CFL. And welcome back. Well, in Canada's largest city, football is no longer king. But as James Murray found out, it still has a few loyal subjects.
It's the impassioned call of Toronto football fans cheering for their Argonauts. Even when they aren't always sure what they're cheering for.
World Series, Argos!
Argos! These days, rooting for the CFL in Toronto can be a lonely experience. Just ask Jack Wojcicki and his friends. They still care passionately about the game. But Wojcicki says it seems as though his fellow Torontonians think they're too good for the CFL.
The Toronto market can be a little bit more about money and what's cool than what they've got as far as good entertainment right in front of them.
They certainly aren't showing up for the games. Toronto's attendance is down by more than 20% from last year. Nearby, the Hamilton Tiger Cats have been leaking fans and money all season. Both teams have been taken over by the league.
The best product doesn't always win in the marketing war, and in Eastern Canada, the CFL might be losing the marketing war a bit.
And it's unfortunate because the CFL is really, it's truly a Canadian represented sport.
No crying in their beer this night, not with a game on the screen. A game that went almost unnoticed in the next day's papers. A common occurrence, according to this football expert.
It's certainly crowded by all the professional sports. It's crowded by international sports. It's crowded by soccer. It's crowded by extreme sport. You know, it's crowded by every sport you can think of.
The push for space isn't just taking place in the pages of the press. Across this city, in parks and fields, the battle is on for space. The kids are still playing ball, only now the ball looks like this.
Cricket is now one of the fastest growing sports in Toronto, played most often by boys born in other countries.
The whole idea of playing cricket is what's in me, it's in my soul, I guess, or something. It really makes me want to play.
The soccer fields are full. Even ultimate frisbee players want room to throw. But this doesn't mean football is dying. The number of universities playing the game in Southern Ontario is holding steady. The number of high school kids playing is up a bit, slowed by concerns about insurance, equipment costs, and injuries. The real growth is coming outside of schools. Community leagues are catching on.
It's a younger face. In some cases, it's a female face. It's touch, flag, and tackle. It's summertime football, but it's still football.
He says football still has a chance of regaining the popularity it once knew, so another generation of fans can hear the call of the game. James Murray, CBC News, Toronto.
And right now we've gathered a mini panel to talk about the current state of the Canadian Football League. With us today in Ottawa, sports writer for the Globe and Mail, Dave Naylor, and in Winnipeg, CFL on CBC's Chris Walby, former member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Thanks for joining us today, gentlemen. Chris, we'll start with you. We just saw some numbers from the first half of the season in Toronto and Hamilton, both cities well under 15,000 for tickets sold. What runs through your mind when you see that?
You know, I'm totally disappointed in the fans of Ontario because I think the biggest thing is they forgot about what a great product we have. This is our game. This is Canada's game. It's well over 100 years. And you know what? They won't come. Toronto won't come because why? They think they're going to get an NFL team. You know, wake up, smell of coffee. It ain't going to happen right now. And at Hamilton, you got to do something about that ticket base. So I'm telling you, you know what? Go to the steel mills, start doing something where they get a payroll deduction to buy season tickets. But you got to take the small steps to create that interest again. I think both those franchises can be successful. Just need some work.
Dave Naylor in Ottawa, the league has taken over both the Argonauts and the Tiger Cats. What is supposed to happen there in both those places for the rest of this season and going into next?
Well, they've got interim operators who are basically running the teams on a cost-cutting basis, trying to minimize the league's losses, which we believe are going to be somewhere between $700,000 and $1 million per team by the time the end of the year comes. And what's also happening slowly behind the scenes is they're talking to interested buyers. There are people who have come forward to look at both the Argonauts and the Ticats. But that said, I think anyone who looks at either of those teams would understand their bargaining position. There's a big difference between buying a team, say like the Calgary Stampeders, which Michael Federick bought a couple of years ago when things were going well, and a team that in a league that's in the midst of a crisis. And anytime you lose a team in mid-season, the bargaining position shifts to the buyer.
How does that affect the rest of the league? You take a look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They stood to make a good chunk of cash because of the Grey Cup being here this year. How does that affect what they get in return from the league at the end of the season?
Well, I mean, the Rough Riders and the other teams are going to get very little. I mean, they're expecting somewhere in $900,000 to $1 million in distribution. Now they're looking at getting 2 or 3. And in the case of Saskatchewan, because they've got the Grey Cup this year, they're not going to be adding to their debt, but it certainly is going to impact what they thought they were going to get rid of the debt they have that's almost $3 million. And that said, the Saskatchewan debt, you could trace it back and say that debt comes from when the league had to prop up BC and Ottawa in 1996, when the league had to prop up the Las Vegas Posse in 1994. So, when one team goes down, it's everybody's problem. And I think that's what frustrates people is it's not just a Toronto Argonauts story. It's not just a Hamilton Tiger Cats story. This has reverberations right across the league, and I'm not sure we're going to know them until we get through the offseason.
Chris Walby, let's talk about some success stories. The Montreal Alouettes, consecutive sellouts. What do they do to make it go there?
Well, I tell you what, I talked to Wettenhall. One of the things he wants to do is he wants to increase that stadium capacity by 5,000 by putting an upper deck in there. They have a waiting list. That's the hottest ticket in Montreal right now. I mean, you can get a Montreal Canadian ticket or an Expo ticket before you can get an Alouette ticket. And you love that happening right now. You know what, I'm going to jump back. I'm going to say for Toronto, get out of that agreement you have at the stadium. You got to go outdoors, play the game like it's meant to be, find out, a multi-purpose center, go in with soccer, maybe go in with the University of Toronto, work something, and I tell you what, get about 25,000 and you'll make it work.
Now, Ottawa, Chris, it looks like they're making it work with the expansion franchise. Can we talk about CFL expansion now? You hear Quebec City and Halifax. Can we talk about that considering the way Toronto and Hamilton are right now?
No, I don't think you can right now. I think it's definitely on the horizon. I definitely think you have to expand the league. I think that these 2 black marks right now, and I call them black marks because remember, it's like a pencil mark. You're going to erase them and things will get better. But the thing is right now, we got to take care of our own thing first, fix it up, and then we expand.
Dave Naylor, everything looks pretty good out west. Maybe the BC Lions, their attendance figures down a little bit.
Yeah, their attendance, they've got a bit of a bump, I think, from where they've had the last few years with Dave Dickinson and Wally Buono there. And you look across the West, the league is strong. And, I'm going to disagree with Chris a little bit on the Southern Ontario fans. I think, yeah, there is some apathy there and some sort of NFL wannabiness, but I also think the Hamilton and Toronto franchises, quite objectively, have been the worst run franchises, the worst marketed teams. And if you took, the Toronto Argonauts approach to marketing their team and did it in Montreal, I think you'd have a disaster there as well. So what you need to do, what the league needs to do is take what you see happening in Winnipeg, take what you see happening in Saskatchewan, and even, as I say, now in BC with a bit of a revival, and that's the approach they need to go into Southern Ontario. I think the model works. They don't need to reinvent the wheel. When those new owners come into those places, they need to look at the successes elsewhere in the league and follow what's going on, as you say, in Western Canada, where the teams are operated in smart, efficient, business-like ways.
David?
Well, I want to interrupt you a little bit there because I do agree with you at a point on that. I mean, I'm not jumping the whole or dumping the whole thing on the fans, and I do agree with the management problems in both cities. But I also think if you want to look at some success, look at Winnipeg, you want to look at Edmonton. Remember, those teams are community-owned. Maybe that's another avenue to look at.
Dave Naylor in Ottawa, Chris Walby in Winnipeg. We're out of time. Thank you very much for doing this. And that has been A Passion for Pigskin from Regina. We hope you enjoyed it. For all of us at Canada Now, I'm Glenn Reed. Have a good night, and we'll see you at the Grey Cup in November.